There is something about going to a period, 1876, it's not seen in that many movies. There's something about the whole feel, the physicality of the film, their hair and their clothing and all that, that just is so authentic and real. You know, and that's Nyla Dixon.
Nyla lives in a world of art and believes in character and the creation of the individual characters through their wardrobe.
This film covers a lot of historical ground. We have covered the American Civil War, Army, Japanese villager costumes, two of the imperial armies of Japan, Tokyo streets pre the European influence and post the European influence. And in New Zealand, we built the samurai armor. Tom as an actor is a very physical actor, and so what was really important was that we made Tom as comfortable as possible, but it is a period film, so I had to allow for the comfort factor but make sure I did get Tom into period clothing, and Tom just slid into that Civil War uniform, and the kimono he wears is extraordinary looking.
As his character goes through the transformation, you can see the clothes start to change, how he wears his clothes, how he carries himself.
When it came to the costume that we've all come to love, which is a particular brown leather coat, it was one of those things that from the moment Tom put it on, you couldn't imagine him without it.
The coat that Tom wears, that long coat, is a wonderful sort of take on a traditional duster, but it looks like someone who's really worn it to death and slept in it and really feels of character.
Elgren to me is a person who should feel very isolated. I want him to feel like a person who doesn't fit anywhere. And quite deliberately, I sometimes remove parts of his army insignia, or he doesn't do it quite properly. It's like he has gone back into the army uniform but under protest. There's a very particular scene between the character of Katsumoto and the Emperor. And in that scene, Sengoku Sensei made the Emperor's costume and guided us through how the scene should take place. And as part of that scene, we have a group of ladies in waiting who stand behind the Emperor, including a little child. And we had replica costumes for this, which are incredibly beautiful. So in that scene, it is a perfect replication of exactly what the Emperor and his household would wear.
海の向こうを知る者の助けがいる。
この勝本がいらざる時は死を賜りますよ。
The use of the different colors of the kimono and the different fabrics to be appropriate to the period. We discovered that the period of this time were very somber in tone.
It's going to be a bit of a shock for people who are used to the Japanese style being quite bright. In fact, during this particular period in time, the Meiji period, it was quite restrained, quite low-key, quite beautiful colours. Well, what we're seeing here, and this is one of the most fascinating things about this film, is this extraordinary moment when Japan began to become westernized. And this street scene is all about that. And in this moment, Algren, the character, is coming back to Tokyo after having visited it earlier, and he's seeing a lot more Western people here. He's seeing a lot more Western influence in the costumes. When we did the Tokyo streets, this again is one of these extraordinary scenes in this movie that shows not only collisions of culture, Japanese and Western, but it also shows what was happening in Japan at the time and the effect of that cultural collision. So you have these extraordinary images of Japanese men wearing bowler hats, and this is the reality of the 1870s in Japan. With the samurai armor, the very first thing we did was we went, of course, to Japan, and we went to the samurai armor houses. And we also went to a lot of the museums, and we looked at everything we could possibly look at, and we read every book.
The start of the process is designing up all the costumes, and the illustrators have gone through and done most of that. Then the next stage is going through breaking the whole costume down into componentry and getting each piece and basically making an original for each piece, moulding it, spraying it, painting it. So each costume's got, you know, about 300 pieces on it.
Well, we're just going through the fittings to get everybody ready for set. So it's a mad rush to get them into wardrobe and then send them down to set.
You put on an under kimono, you put an over kimono on. There's an armoured skirt that goes on, a central chest piece which is called a do, armour for sleeve that comes right up, which is chain mailed. And then over the top of that goes another arm guard. There's a neck piece to protect the neck from being slashed. And then of course there's the helmet. There are a lot of demands on what you're going to do with that samurai costume, to do with stunts, to do with leads, all the sort of ramifications that make up a high-action film. This is based on a particular series of events that happened in Japan in this time, but it is a fictional story. So you try and represent history as well as you possibly can.